it's a waste of fucking time.
It is a waste of time. Like you look at like, so like, for instance, like Chris Harrison from The Bachelor was canceled. I mean, he got $25 million on exit. Ellen, I guess, is technically was canceled. I mean, Ellen seems fine. Like, so like these people are canceled, but then what? It is a waste of time because
Well,
they
Ellen is fine. She's gonna be fine. She has a lot of cash. But and that was I don't think she was well, Ellen was canceled in the 90s. That show was canceled because she came out. But she, she did well afterwards. But yeah, it was like I remember it's funny, I came out in on stage in 96 um because my first son was born. I was like, like if I don't talk about being a gay parent, right? What kind of message is that to my kid? That, oh, this is a secret, we don't talk about. And I had to. And the effect it had on other people was really amazing, because people would come up to me and thank me after the show or tell me, oh my god, my daughter or my son is gay or whatever. But the effect of the audience was really interesting, because I had been working the mainstream clubs. I was a mainstream comic. I wasn't, you think about, you know um Frank Maya, Leah Delaria, my best friend Bob Smith, who passed away of ALS, Suzanne Westenhofer, Kate Clinton, Robin Tyler. There was all these people who had been out and really working those sort of out venues, because they were not welcome, or on a specific night perhaps. Um, and I had been this mainstream comic who came out in the mainstream clubs. And there was a palpable shift in the audience when it was before social media, when they would come see me because they knew me from, HBO or whatever. Um, and I would get into, I have kids, I have a kid, and then it became two kids, but, and I would talk about, and you could hear like, oh, wait, what? And then after they laughed, because I have the same fucking problems as them, with an added who's the real mother bullshit, um, they they realized we're just, our families are the same as your families, and it definitely had such an impact. um it was hard for me, in the beginning, because I was like, hey, I'm the same person, you're not going to laugh now. All of a sudden you find something out about me and you're not gonna, like, it's on you. You have to put it on them, but when I hear when I have young gay kids come up to me and say, I was like, I lived in the middle of nowhere and I put on Comedy Central and there's this big loud woman lesbian screaming about her family, I was like, wow, and that really is just the most, I don't, it's my heart just, it makes it all worth it. But there was a, like, I didn't get as much after I came out. It definitely shifted my
it
career.
it did, like, you felt it hurt your career in the beginning or in
I
general.
was on a fucking roll, like, you can't believe. Then I came back to New York because we had Henry, and I worked at the Rosie O'Donnell show. I was writing and producing, which was just great 2 years. But I did this thing with Alan King, and he said to me, "You need to perform. You can't write." I wrote for Ed Sullivan. You need to do what you do. And so, and I did. I left after 2 years, but I had a great time and I learned so much. Um, but it definitely shifted. And I was told by management, don't talk about the gay stuff, but more than the gay stuff, it was, can you straighten your hair? Can you dye it blonde and, maybe just unjew it up a little? And if you look at my headshots from the late 90s, you'll see, like, I look like a fucking newscaster. Um, And then I did my, you know, off-Broadway show, 25 Questions for a Jewish Mother. It's like, don't fucking tell me how I'm supposed to present. Like, no. N-O. So that ended that. But yeah,
Did
it definitely it shifted for sure.
did you ever regret coming out like in the beginning? Like, oh, it hurt my career? No. You're
No,
shaking your head.
never. Nope. N-O. I absolutely not. You know, I, you know, comedians, you know, people call me a lot of very out people now waited until they made millions, or that they were set. You know, I couldn't fucking live with myself, especially with a child. You know, so I don't regret it. My bank account regrets it, but I don't regret it.
What about like I had Michael Musto on my show. I mean, you're from New
Mm.
York, like he's, he built a whole career on like come out wherever you are. When he was on my show very recently, he was like, hey, Queen Latifah, hey, Missy Elliott, come on, girls. Like, where do you feel we are about like, should we be, and this is no shade to Michael, should we be suggesting people come out that aren't technically out? I mean, I don't think those two people are out.
No, Queen. I think Queen Latifah's out now.
Is she?
Yeah,
Oh.
but I don't believe in outing people, but I do believe. I have honestly really bad feelings about people who remain in the closet when they are role models and can fucking, you think about the children. I recently told this story on stage because there were a lot of young LGBT Q, which the Q is annoying to me. Like, we're queer. No, you're not. You're gay, lesbian, bi, or trans, or whatever, and then whatever. It's I don't know. For me, queer was like, but I've evolved, so I get it. I get the pronouns thing, but it's like, so when someone says queer, it's like, okay, but how? I just want to know,
What does that mean? Yeah.
what does that mean for you? Okay, so I had all these young gays in the audience, and it's so funny to ask them, like, oh, what'd your mother say or your father say? And they're like, nothing. And I'm like, you're welcome. And I tell this story when I was with my ex, Sharon. This is before we had kids. I'm gonna say 1986 or 87. She had her first big business trip overseas, and it was in Amsterdam. And she went with a colleague who was married to a man, and we went to Amsterdam and stayed in this magnificent hotel that the company was putting up, and she had some conference or whatever. And I was not allowed, I could not be seen with her at all. Meanwhile, the colleague who was married, the husband was like, welcome at whatever. Oh, is your husband going to come? But I couldn't even walk into the hotel with her. I would have to leave, or we'd have to, walk around the corner, and then she'd go in case someone at night was in the lobby, and then I'd walk in, 10 minutes. It was because she could have gotten fired. And so I used to go in the lobby in the morning. I would go out with the husband, and we'd go like to museums and get stoned and stuff like that. And so I'd see her in the lobby sometimes in the morning, and I'd go, hi, oh, are you American? And she'd be like, get away from me, like, but that's how we lived our lives.
Yeah.
In hiding. And then we moved to another hotel when the thing was over, so we could, go be ourselves. But this is the way people lived.
Yeah. What was it like